Now at 9, reaction to the approval of recreational marijuana in Missouri.
The balance of power on Capitol Hill is still up in the air after several key races are still too close to call. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I've got the latest on the midterm elections coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. A new tax revenue and expunging some marijuana crimes is in Missouri's future. This midterm, Missouri voters decided to legalize recreational marijuana use in the states. Less than 130,000 votes decided this issue, but Missouri wasn't the only state where ballots were cast on the issue. In Arkansas, a proposal to allow recreational use in addition to medical use was voted down. That was the story in other 2 states. Voters in both North and South Dakota decided to not allow recreational use of cannabis at this time. However, Maryland voters passed a measure in favor of it. In Missouri, folks have mixed feelings on the amendment. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more on that from Joplin.
Missouri voters passed Amendment 3 during the 2022 midterm elections. The amendment legalizes the recreational use of cannabis within the state.
I couldn't be more excited. Yeah, thrilled. We worked really hard to get the word out about this amendment. A lot of people did.
The amendment allows adults 21 and older to use cannabis. They can also possess 3 ounces. Supporters don't think it's perfect, but it's better than nothing.
Like you and I were talking about out there a minute ago, it's just, this was not a perfect bill. Nobody will tell you that. I do believe 100% that it is much better than nothing. This is how things work, a little bit at a time.
While many celebrate the passing of Amendment 3, others are more hesitant due to the writing within the amendment.
Myself, I voted no against that amendment because I just didn't like the complete wording and didn't like some things about it, but however, it is now going to be the law of the land.
Buck criticizes what he calls a lack of local economic benefits in Amendment 3.
Clean it up some and make it benefit our state in the maximum way possible. I really hope they would do so because we need to concentrate on keeping money here in Missouri and keeping money in our economies, keeping money in our local communities, and not send that money outside of state.
Despite being on opposing sides, the 2 can agree on expunging of nonviolent cannabis offenses.
And saying that we still have people serving time in jail for using what we sell legally here every day.
Clean people's records and get them out of jail because nobody should be in jail over a plant that benefits so many.
The amendment goes into effect in December. Businesses will be able to sell recreational marijuana starting in February. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
In general, Jasper County saw its 3rd largest turnout ever for a November election. County Clerk Charlie Davis said nearly 43% of registered voters cast a ballot for the midterm election. That's just under 35,000 ballots. In Jasper County, nearly 82,000 people are registered to vote. While the balance of power on Capitol Hill is still up in the air, with the House leaning towards Republican, President Biden isn't completely disappointed. He says Democrats did a good job on election night. Fox News Chief White House Correspondent Mike Emanuel has more now from D.C.
While we don't know all the results yet, press and the pundits are predicting a giant red wave. It didn't happen.
President Biden taking a victory lap of sorts after Tuesday's midterm elections. His Democrats may be on the cusp of losing the House, but that isn't stopping them from rallying after predictions of a massive Republican red wave fizzled out on election night.
There were definitely some candidates that I was really hoping would win that didn't get across the finish line last night. You're heartbroken by some of those.
The House is predicted to go red, but the Senate chamber is still up in the air. Races in Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia have razor-thin margins despite Republicans' laser focus on inflation, rising crime, and frustration at President Joe Biden's leadership. Instead, Democrats made gains by spotlighting abortion rights. The biggest win being the flipping of Pennsylvania's Republican-controlled Senate seat by Democrat John Fetterman.
The Republican Party needs to do a really deep introspection look in the mirror right now, because this is an absolute disaster for the Republican Party, and we need to turn back.
While any seat lost is painful, some good Democrats didn't win the last night. Democrats had a strong night.
It could be days, even weeks, before anyone learns what party controls the Senate. In Georgia, the Secretary of State has confirmed the Senate race is heading to a runoff after neither candidate got more than 50% of the vote. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
If you missed any of the election results or want to take a closer look at the numbers, it's all on the KOAM News app. It's free to download in the App Store. All you have to do is go to our website for election information. at komnewsnow.com/elections. You can do that in addition to downloading the app. All right, Doug Katie joining us now. First look at the forecast. Another good day today, Doug.
Yeah, it turned out to be a nice one. Temperatures fantastic, all the way up to 81 degrees. Records 87, so 20 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. And we're going to stay mild again as we go through the evening hours for us tonight. Sitting at 70 in Carthage, 71 in Miami, Chanute. At 70, we'll only drop back low to mid 60s for overnight lows. Southerly winds kind of keeping our temperatures up just a little bit. So it's going to stay kind of breezy tonight. We do have some clouds out there. These are going to continue to increase ahead of our next storm system building out across the Rockies, which will start to affect us as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. For us tonight, we drop back into the mid 60s, overnight low 64, and then a quick rise again into the 70s during the morning hours. Thunderstorm chances increase tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that here in just a bit.
Mr. Doug Katie, thank you so much as always. For the first time since the 1980s, Labette County, Kansas has a new commissioner in District 1. That's after the previous commissioner decided to retire. Last night, voters decided to elect Republican Vincent Scheibe to the seat over Democratic candidate Mel Haas. KOM's Segun Bamadeli spoke with the outgoing commissioner about his time in office.
Lonnie Addis was first elected as the Labette County 1st District Commissioner in 1982. After winning that election, he won 9 more, the most recent in 2018.
I guess the best reason for that would be, my constituents would keep encouraging me and the people that I worked around. And so I always felt like I was doing some good.
Addis says over 40 years, he feels his biggest accomplishment is serving his constituents well.
Can't focus on one thing, because there was others that made it possible. So to put me independently of doing something well, not really. It's just doing my job good every day.
I spoke to the newly elected county commissioner, and he had nothing but praises about his predecessor.
I admire Lonnie because, in this day and age, you need public officials with backbone, and Lonnie's got backbone.
I asked Addis what he would miss most about being a commissioner.
Knowing that I had a hand on how things were going to be done. I mean, you get your tax statements, you see things done for the community, whether it's the sheriff's office or whether it's the road and bridge department or whether it's dispatch or public works. You just have a hand in things and you can try to make it better.
Addis will officially leave the commission in January. In Labette County, Segun Bamadeli, KOM News.
Congratulations, sir. Lonnie Addis' son, Ry Addis, is a sales manager here at KOAM. Live in Joplin. Remember this place? Former restaurant building in Joplin came down this afternoon. Crews were at 7th and Maiden Lane to demolish the old Mojo's building. It was originally built to house a taco restaurant before transforming into Babes. Joplin students are working together to raise money for area foster kids in need this holiday season. The 7th Christmas of Hope now underway. Students at both Joplin High School and Franklin Tech bring donations to class. Event organizers say there are about 600 foster kids currently in the area.
100% goes to all these kids. There's no money that is given to anybody else. 100% goes to these kids. And then our school system, we're the actually kickoff for the whole campaign.
The class, which raises the most money, helps shop for gifts with the money raised. Their fundraiser continues until November 18th. Missouri Southern students got the chance to learn more about nonprofits in the area today. It was part of a service fair held in the Billingsley Center. Representatives from 11 area nonprofits told students about their work in the community. Also signed up some new volunteers.
I thought this way it would benefit the most number of organizations because it comes to all the students and asks them for volunteer work, and kind of gives benefits to students because they get volunteer work and they get different opportunities.
This is the first time the volunteer fair was held over at MSSU. Missouri wants your help getting 288 unclaimed military medals back to their rightful owners. Those are important, right? As part of the state's unclaimed property efforts. The latest effort comes ahead of Veterans Day. You can find a full list of information to help through the state treasurer's office. Of course, we also put this and a link on our website, komnewsnow.com, the story as a whole. Holiday Favorite is back and in need of some help. The organizers behind Joplin's Holiday Tree Trail are looking to fill up this tree sponsor list. Anyone who wants to participate just needs a tree, lights, and some good old creativity. Find out more information at KOMNewsNow.com. The Treat Trail opens on November 29th, by the way, and closes December 31st at Mercy Park. KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Stanley Valliere served in the U.S. Air Force from 1943 to 45. Native of Erie, Kansas, Valliere received a Good Conduct Medal, and we are proud to thank and salute Sergeant Stanley Valliere, who's tonight's four-state hero. Meteorologist Doug Henry is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later in sports, going to have National Signing Day coverage from Joplin, Carl Junction, Frontenac, and Riverton.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice day for us today. Partly sunny skies, temperatures all the way up to 80 during the afternoon, which is kind of crazy. So it was way up there, and it looks like we're going to see another warm day once again for us tomorrow. And then we're going to start to see some big changes. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Look at these temps. 69 Nevada, 67 in Neosho. We have Veneta at 68. We have 70 in Parsons. So everyone's staying mild for us tonight. Currently outside, we're sitting at 69. Southerly winds 5 to 10. Humidity is at 73%. It's been kind of windy. It's going to stay breezy again tonight, but this is going to keep our temperatures up. These southerly winds will hold us into the 60s throughout the overnight hours. By 11, 68, 66 by 7, 70 by 10, overnight low 64. We are going to start to see the clouds thickening up just a bit. We have partly cloudy skies out there for us right now as our next storm system is organizing out to the west across the western third of the country. You can see it moving in to the western parts of the Rockies. This is going to shoot across the northern plains, drop about a foot of snow in North Dakota. So it's a big system, and all the way down here, we're going to get showers and thunderstorms as this big area of low pressure ejects out across the northern parts of the plains. So let's go through time for us tonight. Clouds increase. We stay into the 60s. As we work through the morning hours, we warm into the mid-70s. A few showers pop up western counties by the noon hour. Let's go into the afternoon. We'll stop at about 4:30 p.m. Look at the showers, thunderstorms from Fort Scott moving into Pittsburgh, all the way down through northeastern Oklahoma, really all of southeastern Kansas. Then this progresses east throughout the evening hours. Here's 7 p.m. showers, thunderstorms along the I-44 corridor, all the way up to Stockton Lake. Periods of showers, thunderstorms. We could see a few stronger ones. It doesn't look like much of anything severe. But here, 9 p.m. still, so we have rain ongoing through the metro. Notice the temperatures were dropping back through the 40s. Showers sticking around all the way into Friday morning, and then they should exit, take the clouds with it. But our temperatures on Friday, we don't really go anywhere. We really warm up into low to mid 40s for afternoon highs. Rainfall amounts, of course, we need the rain. On average, I would say most of us ½ an inch to an inch. But there are going to be some isolated areas that get over an inch of rain, which is good. We definitely need it. Rain chances, you can see they shoot up by the noon hour, all the way up to about 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 7, 8 p.m., then they start to trail off once we get into Friday morning. High Friday of only 44 down to 24 Friday night, 44 again on Saturday, back into the 50s on Sunday. Rain and snow chances on Monday into Tuesday. So the second half hour, we're going to look at the tropics, and we're going to take a look at that system to see when the world's going on with it.
Did you hear me say when you said rain and snow chances? I said very quietly, but I said it. What? Rain and snow?
At least you didn't say something else.
Right. Hey, we'll see you in a little bit. Doug, thank you so much. All right, coming up, what's being called climate scams? Companies misleading people about their climate-friendly practices. Many people may have lost contact with a friend from work after the start of the pandemic. Clubhouse, a socializing app, says 74% of people lost touch with a work friend. They surveyed 1,000 people and also discovered 61% lost contact with a lunch buddy. 44% of surveyed workers say they still have the same lunch friends. Clubhouse says more people are turning to digital spaces or the virtual world to do lunches. But in the end, many people say work friendships improve mental health. So when a business goes net zero, the company is canceling out the amount of greenhouse gases it emits with the amount removed from the atmosphere. Okay? But according to United Nations officials, many companies are misleading customers with claims they're more sustainable than they really are. Fox News' Ted Lanier takes a look at some of the new guidelines corporations need to adhere to in order to be considered truly net zero.
Are the businesses advertised as net zero, as climate friendly as they claim to be? Leaders attending this year's United Nations Climate Change Summit say not so much.
There's some cynicism about whether these pledges are real.
Citing an alarming trend in companies making false claims they emit zero greenhouse gases or have plans to become net zero, when in reality they don't come close.
The reason you're seeing everyone from oil and gas companies to consumer goods companies to banks saying they're net zero is because they think that that's good for business.
The concerns prompting action, with UN officials on Tuesday announcing strict recommendations to hold businesses accountable.
So if you say you're net zero, I'm a high ambition on climate, you can't be continuing to invest in new sources of fossil fuel supply.
In addition, companies can invest in deforestation projects or offset their emissions by purchasing carbon credits, which allows them to still emit certain levels of CO2 and methane gases, with those amounts decreasing over time.
You can't just buy cheap credits, often with low integrity, instead of reducing your own emissions. You actually have to do the work.
Officials hope this will force companies to devise concrete plans to fulfill their net zero claims and create transparency for consumers looking to purchase from environmentally conscious corporations. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
So ahead, same people in Florida getting ready for more destruction.
Florida is bracing for yet another major storm, possibly an extremely rare November hurricane. I'm Phil Keating in Indy Atlantic Beach near Melbourne, Florida, with the details straight ahead.
Get all three.
Disney reaching a new streaming milestone and now says has more subscribers than Netflix. Disney says it's Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu reached more than 235 million subscribers by October 1st. That tops Netflix's 223 million subscribers. Disney says it added customers through family-friendly features and franchises. Nicole, pummeling the northwestern Bahamas today as a tropical storm is now threatening Florida's east coast with heavy rain and strong winds. Fox News correspondent Phil Keating has more.
Nicole churned up powerful waves along Florida's east coast on Wednesday. The system barreled towards the state after making landfall in the Bahamas. At times, it was packing winds as high as 70 miles an hour. Early in the day, heavy rain began flooding streets in St. Johns County.
A lot of people are just going to stay out here, you know. They just want to protect their homes and their shops.
Nicole is expected to make landfall overnight north of West Palm Beach, though forecasters warn hurricane gusts could be felt far inland. Governor Ron DeSantis says the state's National Guard activated 600 of its members. Urban search and rescue teams, along with thousands of linemen, are ready to respond if needed.
People in the impacted areas should continue to pay close attention as the storm progresses. I think we know these things can be dynamic, and so please exercise that diligence.
This storm is hitting just weeks after Hurricane Ian devastated parts of southwest and central Florida. Many people are still cleaning up debris. Local crews have been out clearing storm drains to prepare for another several inches of rain.
Make sure that those areas are clear so the water can flow through as Nicole comes through, that the water has a clear path to the drainage where it needs to go.
And from the White House, President Biden has now approved an emergency declaration for the state. In Indy Atlantic Beach, Florida, Phil Keating, Fox News.
If you have trouble multitasking, you can learn more about some robots programmed to do nearly everything at once.
Ready.
Meet the latest innovation in multitasking. 46 robots, I'm looking at this too because I want to see it. 46 robots were introduced yesterday at the 5th China International Import Expo. Now, those attending saw them cruising around between robot docks, providing services of guidance, security inspection, and item recycling for the expo. There they are. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, over in Thailand, something else that's cool. Thousands of lanterns filled the night sky to celebrate the Yi Ping Festival, also called the Festival of Lights. The event happened yesterday during a full moon to symbolize letting go of hardships and welcoming in good fortune. Let it go. You know, let it go. Good vibes. You need that, right? You need that every once in a while. 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to hear some important safety reminders for hunting. Also, good news for several parents and students over in the St. Louis area after their school was shut down last week over radioactive contamination concerns. So this weekend is the start of deer firearm hunting season in Missouri, and KOAM's Jalen Banks shares how people can stay safe while out hunting.
The end of the year around the country is prime hunting season, and the Missouri Office of Conservation encourages individuals to have what they call a hunting plan to stay safe.
The biggest thing we say is make a hunting plan. List where you're going, who you're hunting with, what time you're going to be back, phone numbers of your phone number as well as phone numbers of everybody that's with you. So in case something happens, they have a contact information for the people that's in that hunting. They know the location of where you'll be hunting at. So if for some reason somebody needs to come out and look for you, they'll know where to start.
In the event of an emergency, Smith says to call 911, but if you don't have cell service, to use a standard SOS signal.
International symbol of distress is 3 of anything. And that could be 3 shots, 3 blows of a whistle, 3 rifle shots, 3 of anything.
Kaylin Hubbard, an avid hunter, echoes that along with a plan, proper training will keep you safe as well.
I think the teaching is huge. Teaching is absolutely huge because without that teacher, then you're learning by mistakes. And learning by mistakes when you have a firearm in your hand, not the way to go.
Hubbard says that when done right, hunting can lead to some awesome experiences.
I absolutely love it. I look forward to it every year. Spring, summer, fall, being out in nature in the woods is just something that I love doing. So when it's done well and it's done right, it's done ethically, it's a blast. I've had deer closer to me than you. You know, I've had turkeys closer than me. I mean, that close of an encounter.
In Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
It's beautiful right there. Firearm deer hunting opens this weekend in Arkansas as well. Firearm deer hunting opens November 19th in Oklahoma. Firearm deer hunting opens November 30th in Kansas. Well, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers found no radioactive contamination at a Missouri school. Goodness, findings were presented at a meeting talking about something we were worried about, right? The school in St. Louis was shut down last month amid fears that nuclear material from a contaminated creek nearby had made its way into the school. The closure came after testing by a private firm. A private firm found what it considered concerning levels of contamination. Well, today, the Army Corps team presented their preliminary results, finding no evidence of radioactive material above what they say would be naturally occurring. But school board members are asking for numbers from the Corps, something the private firm was able to do.
So from a radiological standpoint, the school is safe. I'll be very brief in that the Corps of Engineers has been on the ground here in the St. Louis area since 1997 with the FUSRAT mission, and we intend to complete it. So we've carried out $1.1 billion worth of both testing and remediation in the St. Louis area, and we intend to complete the project as given to us by Congress.
And I'm a little concerned and confused at why there are no numbers being presented here. Do you have an answer for that? Why don't we have numbers that you used?
So the once again, preliminary results, we wanted to get you guys the best information we could at the earliest possible opportunity. The actual numbers will be coming in the report itself.
Corps said a public event is going to be held November 16th to discuss the findings with the community. So with the rising inflation, many Americans are looking for side hustles to earn some extra dough, right? As Michelle Dean explains, there's an app that's helping people transform their backyards into dog parks.
What's this? Stuart McDonald loves to see her dogs Cairo and Mochi run free in their own private space.
My dog is really dog reactive. He can't really be around other dogs at all.
Here, there's plenty of room to sniff, play, and splash in the water.
It's just a lot more relaxing, not having to worry about kind of the chaos of a dog park.
But this is not McDonald's home. She lives with her dogs in a condo and is renting Cindy Prince's backyard through an app called Sniff Spot for $13 an hour.
We had most of this here already for our kids who were really underutilizing the space.
David Adams started Sniff Spot 4 years ago, wanting to find more off-leash places for his pup to play.
Dogs evolved. They were bred out in the open and in fields, and now they're living in apartments and on leashes.
Sniff Spot joins other apps that allow people to make extra cash off their property. On Peer Storage and Neighbor, you can rent out storage space in the garage. And on the Swimply app, homeowners get paid to let people use the pool. Sniff Spot has more than 13,000 hosts across the country, and many of them have the potential to earn about $3,000 a month.
It's not a job. You're not doing work. You're letting people use your yard.
Prince says Sniff Spot is an easy side hustle.
I am a stay-at-home mom, so this is a way for me to kind of make some extra money for our family.
For customers like McDonald, the private and secure space has been a game changer. Her dogs go home happy, a little dirty, and wiped out.
We're gonna go home and they're probably gonna pass out for a couple hours, aren't you?
A backyard experience for dog owners that's giving their four-legged friends a new leash on life.
Good girl.
Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
Party at Dow Quick's house tonight in the backyard, okay? You just send me the money. I'll take care of it. Just send me the money. A bit later, some pretty impressive items belonging to some of music's biggest names getting ready to be auctioned off. We'll learn about some of these items.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warm one for us today. Temps all the way up into lower 80s across the region, which is very atypical for this time of the year. And it looks pretty good still. It's comfortable outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Clear skies, but clouds have been increasing the past couple hours and will continue to through the overnight hours. Most of us across the board, upper 60s to near 70 degrees. 7th and Rangeline sitting at 69, southerly winds 5 to 10, humidity is at 73%. The southerly winds kind of keeping our temperatures up, so this will actually keep us in the 60s for overnight lows tonight. A south wind at about 5 to 15, gusts a little bit higher than that. As we go through the night, look at this, we hold into the 60s. Our low is only 64, and then a quick warm up as we go through the morning hours. But these clouds will continue to increase across the region. So mostly cloudy skies by the time we head into the morning hours. But we're watching this big storm system wrapping up that's going to produce a ton of snow across the northern plains, and it will give us showers, even some thunderstorms by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon. But you can already see the freezing rain picking up in parts of South Dakota. Let's drop south and east. Here's Hurricane Nicole, low grade hurricane, a category 1. But hitting of Florida once again on the east coast. And what Nicole's going to do, she's clocking winds at 75. She's going to track across Florida, make landfall tonight, track across the state, and end up in a very similar position to where Hurricane Ian was. So it's just affecting the same people. And then it lifts up into Georgia, South Carolina, very similar to what Ian did about 40 to 45 days prior to this. So that's obviously going to cause some issues across the southeastern parts of the U.S. Back here at home, we have the rain. So clouds increase. We'll start to get some showers and thunderstorms. So here is the noon hour. Look at the rain increasing. Spotty thunderstorms. Some of those storms could be a little bit stronger, not anticipating much in the way of severe. Here's 4:30. As we get through the evening, it drives east. All the bands of showers and thunderstorms. Here's 7 p.m. Let's go to 9 p.m. Showers and thunderstorms continuing. By midnight, the heaviest on the Missouri side. Look at our temps. We're dropping through the 40s. Still bands of showers all the way into Friday morning. We're in the 30s. Could even see a few flakes of snow trying to mix in. And talking about some flakes of snow, let's go into Monday. The system behind this, look at the rain increasing. And if it can get cold enough, we'll mix with or change over to some snow late Monday into Tuesday. Still a long ways away, but something to watch. 74 for us tomorrow, only 44 Friday, 44 Saturday, 53 on Sunday, and then rain on Monday, possibly switching over to snow. So once we get rid of the thunderstorms tomorrow night, then we'll focus on this guy.
Man, I used to like you.
I know.
I still do.
Okay.
I still do. Don't worry. Don't worry, man. All right, Doug, thanks so much. Coming up, sports. 4 Joplin student-athletes signing to continue their careers at the next level. Plus, pair of Riverton standouts signing to play volleyball at local colleges. Jacob Leonard has National Signing Day coverage from across the area. Next. Listen up, music lovers. This could be your chance to own a piece of history. Fox News' Sean Langell takes a look at the iconic objects from music's top acts getting ready to hit that auction block.
Music lovers could soon own iconic items from some of the industry's biggest stars, as Julien's Auctions gives a sneak peek at some of the lots about to go on sale. One item expected to rake in serious dough is a 1973 Fender Mustang guitar played, signed, and destroyed by Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain.
This guitar was actually smashed in Williamsburg, Pennsylvania, 1989. Estimated 200 to 400,000. He's actually written on the guitar, if we can't have rock and roll, then throw my in jail.
Beatles member John Lennon is also represented with a pair of his iconic glasses up for sale.
We sort of identified John Lennon as wearing those type of round granny glasses, as he called them.
The auction also includes this beehive hairpiece once belonging to Amy Winehouse. She wore it during the 2008 Grammys, where she performed and won 5 awards, including Best New Artist.
The auction estimated 10 to 20,000.
A piano belonging to Bob Dylan, one of Prince's guitars, and a Bob Mackie dress worn by Cher are also some of the more than 1,500 items hitting the auction block.
The stock market is in flux, the bond market is in flux, the real estate is in flux, so people are sort of taking their money out of sort of intangible items and choosing to own something cool, something that they can relate to.
The auction takes place in person at New York City's Times Square Hard Rock Cafe and online at julienslive.com November 11th, 12th, and 13th. Sean Langell, Fox News.
All right, talk about some money though, right? Coming up, check out what's new to those movie theaters this weekend. It's time for the highly anticipated Marvel movie Black Panther: Wakanda Forever to make its debut in theaters. Take a look at that and more of this week's new releases with Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Have I not given everything?
The epic Marvel sequel Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is in theaters nationwide. The exciting, powerful adventure is both a tribute to late star Chadwick Boseman and the next chapter for Wakanda as they fight intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death.
This is my daughter, Kate.
Oh, this is my son, Sam.
Sam and Kate is in theaters with Dustin Hoffman and Sissy Spacek starring alongside their real-life kids Jake Hoffman and Skylar Fisk. The family dramedy is about a man returning home to take care of his ailing dad who falls for a local woman, while his dad falls for her mom.
What kind of movie are we gonna make?
In select theaters before expanding nationwide by Thanksgiving is director Steven Spielberg's semi-autobiographical The Fabelmans, about a boy finding his love for movies and embarking on his own filmmaking journey.
I'm your ghost of Christmas present.
Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds, and Octavia Spencer get festive with Spirited in theaters before it streams on Apple TV Plus November 18th. The musical puts a twist on the tale of A Christmas Carol, told through the perspective of the visiting ghosts.
Welcome to my world, kid.
Netflix introduces the magic of Slumberland in theaters before it streams November 18th. The fantasy film with Marlo Barkley and Jason Momoa is about a young girl and her eccentric guide Flip, hopping dream to dream in hopes of finding her missing father.
We have to get out of here!
Now on Netflix is Book to Screen My Father's Dragon, about a kid who runs away in search of a wild island and a young dragon who waits to be rescued, and the incredible friendship which follows.
This really was my lucky day.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Some good movies there, especially in my opinion, that Steven Spielberg one. I want to see that one. Looks pretty good. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us as always. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.